All right. All right. All right. Let's get started here. This is Sports for Real with Coach Hall. I was on the shelf yesterday about this time to get control of that sneezing and wheezing, man. But I had to pull out the heavy guns again that equate loratadine, 10 milligram pills. Most of the time, to knock my little allergy issues right on at the park. Um, Still got a little residuals here. You know, these old horny trees got pollen all over the place, and it's killing me. And the problem I have, I got food allergies, so I don't know if I overdosed on some vitamin. You know, I can't have but so much vitamin C or fruit. I don't even touch fruit juice. I can't do any of that anymore. And I do just about rush me to the hospital. But sometimes when you mix it in with the pollen, just a little bit of anything can set me off. So I really don't know what's going on. Normally it would have passed by now, but I'll deal with it. But that's why I didn't come on yesterday. I didn't see a whole lot to talk about yesterday anyway, so I said forget it. But today, got a little bit to wrap on. Um, the question is, who is the real MVP? Before I get to that, let's talk a little NFL. You know, in the midst of all this NBA stuff, of course, football always trumps basketball. I don't care what time of year it is. It can be the NBA Finals Game 7. But if some real NFL or football talk comes up, that Game 7 got to go to the back burner, man, because football will always trump basketball in my book. Again, basketball is just something to do until football comes back around. So while we're talking about this heated NBA MVP race, let's talk about Pittsburgh. They missed out on keeping Justin Fields. For whatever reason, I guess they didn't see enough that they should think that they want to keep Fields around, so they let him go off into free agency. And the Jets picked him up on the first day. Yesterday, I hear that Russell Wilson, he's going to Cleveland and a couple of other places. He's looking around. So 9 times out of 10, he won't be back. So the hot talk right now is that Pittsburgh is going to try to land Aaron Rodgers. Well, if you're going to get Aaron Rodgers, it wouldn't make sense to keep Russell Wilson around. Rodgers is not a bad idea, but can you get him off the commune to come play? He's probably in Costa Rica right now, out in the woods somewhere, getting his mind right. So you never know what's the deal with this guy. JC, how you doing, man? You never know about Aaron Rodgers, but if you look at the numbers that he had last year, it's very comparable to what Patrick Mahomes did. So if you stick him in a Steeler uniform, by the way, which was the talk before he went to the Jets in the first place, if you stick him in a Steeler uniform with a good running game and some good defense, and Pittsburgh will improve. I don't know what they're going to do about the running back because they let Najee Harris go. So they got to go find somebody else. And they will. I don't doubt that they will. Pittsburgh's problem has been which quarterback are we going to choose? Now, Rodgers, you know, he's on his last leg. But hell, if you can just hand it off and get a good running game and make some timely passes, which he can still do, Pittsburgh will be a threat. But the biggest thing is they're going to have to show up that run defense if they want to stop Baltimore, because you know Henry's going to come back. I don't know how many more years he can play at such a high level, but he's got at least one more in him. And, he's going to be jamming it up in there against them Steelers, man. And after what he did to us in the playoffs, Pittsburgh's going to have to do something, man. So it goes beyond the quarterback position. You picked up a couple of nice free agents. You got Metcalf out of Seattle. He'll help. You got Pickens on the other side. So all you need is a quarterback to flip it to him. Wilson's probably going to be gone. Fields is gone. I just hope they don't do something stupid like before and go get a Mitchell Trubisky. I don't know what they were thinking about when they did that. They were talking about getting Sam Darnold. I'm glad they didn't because he's so inconsistent. You don't know what he might do. So Rodgers might just be the best option for the Steelers. And I don't see him drafting a quarterback. So we'll see how that goes. Jackery VR, how you doing? I hope I said that right. Now the question of the day is, who is the true MVP? Well, everybody's going crazy about Jokic's record, double, triple, double. What is a double, triple, double? I think it was Friday night. The man had 30 points, 20 rebounds, and 20 assists. So that is a double, triple, double. To my understanding, nobody's ever done that before. He scored like 140 points, I believe. That's what they're doing now in the NBA, shooting up all these three-pointers, and you can dish it to the right guy and he hit the right shot, then you can pile up those kind of stats. But not saying that it's an easy thing to do, because if it was, more people would be putting up those kind of numbers. But the man's been averaging a triple-double all season. He won the MVP last year, and he won the MVP 2 years before that. And they won the championship in between all of that. And because of that, people still say that Jokic is still the man. But on the flip side, another guy, Gilgeous-alexander, has been slowly improving his numbers. Right now, he's averaging 32 points a game, and he's getting 5 rebounds and another 6 assists, as compared to last year when he got 30 points, 5 rebounds, and 6 assists. He's been consistent, and he's slowly ticking up, getting better. And Jokic is also consistent. Last year when he won the MVP, he come up with 26 points, 12 rebounds, 9 assists. So that's less numbers point-wise than what Alexander got last year. But I think the true value of an MVP comes down to how valuable are you to your team. Well, if you want to know Jokic's value, look no further than his sidekick, Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray is supposed to be the guy that take the pressure off Jokic. Well, ever since I've been following trying to hit these little parlays, I'm not a gambler, but every now and then I try to hit a parlay. Every time I see that guy, Jamal Murray, they always put he's going to score 25 points. Murray hardly ever gets close to 25 points. And the scarier part about him, if the Nuggets are going to advance deep in the playoffs, they're going to need him to produce. Well, the last couple games that I've seen him, he's scoring less than 5 points and a half. How the hell can you be the number 2 guy to take the pressure off the man when you're only scoring 4 or 5 points and a half? You can't just turn it on and off when you get ready. I did that the other day. He scored like 6 points in the first half and ended up like 21 or 22. But that's not balanced enough to make the defense respect that. And to follow that up, that inconsistency, he hit for 1 point in the first half last night. So if Jokic is able to do what he's doing with a more consistent side scorer like Jamal Murray is supposed to be, then they would go much farther. But since he doesn't have that help, and Minnesota seems to have a way to slow down Jamal Murray, Denver's not going very far. So as great as Jokic is, he still has to have help. Now, if you flip that to the other side, you have Alexander. Again, his numbers are slowly ticking up, but he has a little bit more help. Jalen Williams has turned into an all-star player. He's scoring, and he's getting just enough help from the sidekicks to continue to be able to do what he needs to do. And when you look at the way that the Thunder are playing, they have like a 10, 12 game lead on the Nuggets. So when you add up the whole body of work, looks like to me that Alexander is outplaying Jokic. But Jokic, you cannot deny what the man is doing. And because of that, the debate rages. Who should win the MVP? Well, I tend to take the side of the player that's more consistent. And I think Alexander right now is just a little bit more consistent, and his team is just a little bit better than the Nuggets. And because he's leading the team that's one of the best in the league, I think that Alexander should win this trophy. We've seen what Jokic's done. Now, the question is, can Alexander get his team over the hump in the playoffs? Because right now, the Thunder have a reputation of choking. And as Minnesota showed you, if you take away that Murray guy and slow the other scorers down, then I don't see how Denver is going to advance. And Minnesota showed you how to do it. All you have to do is get their consistent production from Anthony Edwards and hit those boards. They're going to be fine. They're going to beat Denver. So I wouldn't count on Denver going very far. The question is, can somebody figure out a way to slow down Alexander? And so far, I hadn't seen it. You see, Boston tried to take him away the other day. They tried to be physical with him. That didn't work. It just doesn't seem to matter because this guy's playing at that high level. So I think since Jokic has already won a couple of awards, this is Alexander's time to win. Let's see what we got here. Steve Pulls Seat say Nuggets are still third in the West. Yeah, but regular season is far different from the playoffs. You know, I like what the NBA is doing. Normally you play around and you might play a guy once every 2 weeks but they got this thing now where they're playing back to back every now and then. And I think that's a good concept. And you get a chance to get a mini preview of what the playoffs could look like. And you see what Minnesota is doing to Murray. They're going to take him away. So, yeah, Jokic, you can score your 30 or 35 points. But if you don't have a suitable sidekick, then how are the Nuggets to advance? So, yeah, you third in the West. So what? It's the series that make the difference. All right, Steve Pulls here. It doesn't matter if Jamal is scoring 5 if they're still winning. It doesn't matter now because they're not game planning specifically to stop them. You don't show everything that you're going to do in the regular season. I tell you guys that about the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens, I christen them the regular season Ravens. They bad in the regular season. But when you get in the playoffs, you see completely different game plans. It's the same thing in basketball. All the adjustments are being put up on a board, so they already know how they're going to play you by the time you get to the playoffs because they've seen you several times. The only thing that's a little different from that is the East. East and the West still only play each other twice a year. So if I'm in LA, I know how to play against Minnesota or Utah, whoever else you're going to play because you see them so many times. It's going to be Lakers and Celtics. Man, the Lakers aren't going anywhere, man. Doncic, he's good, but he ain't putting those eye-popping numbers up like what we saw with Dallas. He plays well with LeBron, but I don't see them getting past Oklahoma City. Dougie Wise said Lakers are top 5 offense and defense. It's been on too much. Well, I saw the Celtics try to shoot up a bunch of three-pointers last night, and it didn't work out for them. But the key is they're getting those looks, and you can't expect Jaylen Brown to be off all the time. Now, if you compare Jaylen Brown to Jamal Murray, he's more consistent. He didn't have a great night last night, and he fouled out. But he's going to get that consistency that they need. Plus, they don't necessarily need him. He's got more help than what Jokic has because that guy Derek White stepping up his game. Celtics will whip the Nuggets. And I think in the series, they probably beat Oklahoma City too. Golden State is getting better, but I still don't see everybody's talking about Jimmy Butler and his value. When I look at his stat line, he's struggling to get 12 points. Curry can't score 45 every night, man. And if he expected him to do it, he's in the same boat with Jokic. So if you want to see a great series, let's see Golden State and Denver because you got two teams depending on one trick ponies to try to get through the playoffs. History shows you that doesn't work. Preston Howard say, bro, stop. Jokic MVP is not close. The man averages 28, 14, and 11. Actually averages 29. He's doing better than what you're saying. But I'm telling you that this guy, Oklahoma City, is on a mission to knock off everybody in the West. They have the ingredients to get by, say, a Minnesota, athletic team like Minnesota, because they got more parts. Jokic, he's hamstrung with this Murray guy. Murray is not, he got to be consistent throughout the game. You can't just turn it on and help the man out. You know, a bit, put it this way, stats are overrated. I might be scoring 30 a game, and that's another thing about the NBA players. They might have one or two great games, like what's that guy, Fox, where he put up 60 one night, but his average is 20-something. That's all boasted by what he did in those couple of big games he had. But if you betting that this guy's going to score 23, 24 a night, you're going to lose. It's like with Murray. I'm telling you, I've been watching the numbers. So the stats don't necessarily mean anything. Murray could have his 20 points, but if he's only scoring 5 and his team is getting beat by 30, so what? Because he scores 15 second half points in garbage time, man. It don't make sense. Best fourth option on any team, he's a two-way player. Perhaps. Howell says so because Jokic won it before. He should not. That's not what I said. I said this is Alexander's time to win it. We know what Jokic can do, and let him win the MVP every year. And you think you're losing fans now, let the same player keep getting the same award and then don't advance in the playoffs. It's just like the same argument with Lamar Jackson. Yeah, you can win the MVP, but can you take your team through the brackets and get to the Super Bowl? He's not excited about getting the MVP anymore. He's trying to win. Alexander won it last night. The Cavs, I think the key to the Cavs is Donovan Mitchell. He's got that groin injury right now. They tell me that not Garland, but what's the other guy supposed to be the key that keeps everything together? I can't think of his name right now, but it's the swing man scoring about 17 points a game. He's the guy that keeps Cleveland together. And if you can keep him going, they're going to be a pretty tough out. Yeah, the Cavs are regular season merchants right now because they hadn't done anything. But at the same time, they weren't like this last year. Boston is still the team to beat in the East. And I think in a 7-game series, if you can't stop Tatum, then you're going to have a hard time beating Boston. That's just my thought on that. Mobley, that's his name. Mobley is the man for the Cavaliers. You're going to have to stop him. But I'm not really big on this basketball. I follow it just like everybody else, primarily because football is over with, especially after the All-Star game. That's when it really matters anyway. So it's exciting to talk about this kind of stuff because it's all to the value that you have for your particular team. And both Jokic and Alexander are great leaders for their team. But the point is you have to have a team if you want to advance. Anybody can get out there and score points and look good. And, you know, case in point, I got a baseball team. I got this guy, about 6'2", look good, man. Got his white shoes on and spat it all up. And then you trot a little 50-mile-an-hour pitcher out there. He's striking him out in 4 pitches. He looked the part, but can you play? No, he can't play. He's beating around the bush, trying to look pretty instead of trying to work on his game. I tell him that all the time. He think I'm picking on him. Man, you jiving, man. And a lot of these guys in the NBA, it's the same kind of thing. Yeah, they made the NBA. They're good players, but if all you're concerned about are your stats, then how good is your team going to be? It's still a team game, and the object is to win a championship, not to get out there and look pretty and say, look at me, and then go and say that I got my stats. That ain't worth a quarter. And that kind of reminds me a little bit of Deion Sanders' son. It came out that some of those sacks he was taking during his college career because he didn't want his passing percentage to go down. I mean, I shudder the thought that, you know, you would not try to throw the ball out of bounds to give your team a better chance to win so your stats can look good. Some people will agree that maybe he should have done that, but he's going to get a shot in the NFL anyway. So the object is to try to win as much as you can. But to throw the ball away, just take a sack just to keep your stats at a certain level, I don't know about that, man. That's not going to go over too well in the NFL. All right, let's see what else we got here. Arizona won it last night. Cavs are regular season merchants. Nobody in the East will beat Boston. I'm starting to think that, but Cavaliers, they showing that they can play any kind of way. And even though Boston is the champion, they're going to have to beat Cleveland, man. And they might choke in the playoffs, just like OKC. Daniel Jones signed with the Colts. Yeah, I saw that. Richardson needs some help, man. I never thought that Daniel Jones is a bum. He might be a bum, but so is Anthony Richardson, man. I think that man should have stayed another year in college, man. They drafted him on his physique and his potential for the future. He may very well turn out to be a good NFL quarterback, but with that guy Jaden Daniels coming in and winning the MVP, he's got no more excuses because he showed you what could be done. And I think what the Commanders did that everybody should take note of, and nobody's saying, is that you should take that same number one draft choice quarterback that you have, bring in the same type of offense that he ran in college, implement it in the NFL. Then all he would need to do is get used to the game speed and what defenses, what they're trying to do to him. Once you figure that out, then you're going to be able to stop him. Now you go out to San Francisco and you get a Deebo Samuel, and you're making a couple of other moves on the line. Hey, man, Washington is going to be a team to beat this year. But the only thing, you can't get too excited because football is still, as much as they try to take the contact out of the game, it's still a physical game, and one player getting hurt, a key player getting hurt can wreck your whole season. That's the only down part about football. But you got to love it. But Jones, he'll push Richardson a little bit, and we have two bums fighting it out for the starting spot. But Richardson has got the upside. He looks good. He's like my baseball player. He looks good. He looks the part. But can you play? And right now, he hadn't shown he could play. Yes, the Niners are cleaning house, but here's the deal. All you're doing is refreshing players. You don't want to keep coming back with the same group, because if you do come back with the same group, now everybody knows how to defend you. Now you got a different set of players and doing the same type of things, all in the same spot. Now 49ers become something else you got to resolve now. So once they start to gel and start playing some football, they're going to be problematic. But it's a turning over of the talent. You have to do that. Now, 30 years ago, you get a group, you ride that group out until you can't ride them no more, then you replace them. You know, you take Pittsburgh when they won those 4 Super Bowls in the 70s, it was by and large just the same personnel. The same core players is what they had. You can't do that anymore because you got to get younger and fresher at certain positions to be able to maintain that. Alan Moore, how you doing, man? Doug Wise said, I think Purdy is valuable. We can sign him for 40 per year. Anything more than that, I trade him. Well, they're still exorbitant numbers, but you know the salary cap went up to $279 million. So it's a good chance that they will re-sign him. I don't think Purdy is a bad quarterback, but right now the running quarterback is popular. And when Jalen Hurts won that Super Bowl, that opened the door up for guys like Justin Fields, and it rejuvenated Jalen Milroe out of Alabama. Just like Richardson, I think he should have stayed in college another year, but he's adamant about trying the pros, and he's going to get an opportunity because running quarterbacks are the vogue right now. Those statue standing in the pocket quarterbacks, they're going away. There'll always be a couple of teams that will use them, but for the most part, they're going away because those running quarterbacks cause a lot of problems. Everything's covered. You read it right, take off. Man coverage, your man got 15 yards before you know he even took off. I used to be a running quarterback in high school, so I know how that works. Think you got everybody covered, nobody's open, bam, I take off, I get 15, 20 yards. And that was moons ago. Nothing's changed. Just the uniforms are better now. All right. Let's see what the poll says. I got a few votes here. I got 50-50 if Jokic should still win the MVP. I think that the way that Oklahoma City is playing, the better team, the better record, I think that especially when they play head-to-head, they usually beat the Nuggets. And because of that, I think that Alexander is going to win the trophy this year. But all eyes are on the playoffs. Can they advance through the playoffs and not choke? Teams like Minnesota, they come up with these creative game plans to slow guys like Jamal Murray. And because of that, I don't see Denver getting very far. And with Jimmy Butler, as great of an addition as they say he is, I'm not seeing that on the stat line. Maybe he's some kind of wonder man in the locker room or something. But I don't think that Curry can sustain 40, 45 a night to propel that team. They'll make it exciting, but I don't see Golden State or Denver. And the Lakers, if Jokic and can get hot and, LeBron can still play, but, he started having these migraines and different things, that may slow the Lakers down. So I think that Oklahoma City is their time to come out of the West. JC say the Cowboys hasn't made any big offseason moves. Well, I'm hearing things about it. I listen to what Michael Irvin's saying. He's saying that they should get that Austin GT out of Boise State, that running back, to come in there to be like the next Emmitt Smith. They got the receivers. Maybe Dak can be good enough as a quarterback to get it downfield, but they do need a running back. But Jerry, he's not really, I don't think he really cares if they really win or not. He just want to make his billions, get the players and the coaches he wants that's loyal to him, and go from there. And if we were lucky enough to win it like that, then great. But he don't seem to be trying to go after the best to get him to win. We passed on Derrick Henry twice. Henry wanted to play for the Cowboys. They took Zeke. And then when he was a free agent, they took Zeke again. So then he complains about they didn't have enough money to pay everybody. Oh, you had enough money. You just didn't want that guy. You wanted Zeke because Zeke was one of your guys. And Zeke let you down again, and you had to release him. Now it's too late to get a Henry. So what did Henry do in response? He ran all over him last year when they played. Washington will win that division next year. Yes, they're going to be competitive because, when you win a championship and this free agent stuff, teams are going to start picking at your players. And I know that the Eagles lost two of those front line guys. Sweat was one of them. And that's going to be detrimental to them. But as long as you got that offense scoring enough points, Philadelphia is still going to be dangerous. But I think that Dallas, they're probably going to be looking at a third or fourth place finish. The Giants are still bringing up the rear, so it's going to come down to Washington and Philadelphia again next year. That's what I think. DeMarcus Lawrence signed with Seattle yesterday. Hey, that's not a bad pickup. But Dallas, I don't have anything to say much about them. Dougie Wise also said earlier that I trust Alexander, but not his teammates in the playoffs. Well, I think what you're going to have to do is take away the second player so that maybe Gilgeous scores 35 in the playoffs, but it's not enough to beat a team. Even if he scored 40, it's not sustainable. The same thing with Steph Curry. So it's going to come down to coaching and what kind of game plans they come up with. But we got to get up out of here, man. Just to recap, we got this debate going on about who's the best player in the NBA. Jokic is always going to be there as long as he keep putting up those eye-popping numbers. And he's pulling his team along because his sidekick, Murray, in my opinion, he's not holding his weight. Tried to watch him last night. Kid only scored 1 point in the first half. You can't win a championship like that if your second best scorer is only scoring 1 point and a half. That ain't worth a damn. They're going to have to do something with that or it's too late for a trade, come up with somebody else next year. But in Murray's defense, I am with this. The year that they won the championship, his numbers are almost identical to what they have now. So I'm in one of those rooms where the lights went out. I don't feel like getting up. But in his defense, he's putting up numbers of what he had when they won the championship. So maybe I'm too hard on Murray, but I don't think so. So we'll see how that goes. But anyway, I appreciate you guys signing in with me. I hope you like and subscribe. Maybe share me up a little bit. Going to be doing a promotion this weekend. I'm a rideshare driver, so I got spring break off next week, so I'm going to see what I can put together. We do a little ride and talk with my passengers, and we do a little promotion during that week. So I'll give you more information on that as the weekend approaches. But until then, got the bracket's going to be released this weekend, so a lot to talk about. So if I don't catch you guys later on today, I'll be back on in the morning with some more AM Sports Bike. Until then, appreciate you guys stopping by. But I got to go to work, man. So I'm out. Check this poll before I go. Still 50-50. I think Alexander's going to get it, though, man. Prove me wrong. All right, have a great day. I'm out.